Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're looking at our Borla Catback. That's 2.5 inch, but if you look at it, it actually reduces down to 2.25 because they intend that you might be using it with a stock mid pipe, which would also be 2.25 inch. So the sleeve that comes in the Borla Catback ends up being much smaller than what you need to meet up to a 2.5 inch mid pipe. What we're going to do is remove that because it doesn't quite match up to a 2.5 inch mid pipe if that's what you have. Notice how big the ball is here and how small the cup is. So what we're going to do today is use an exhaust clamp and this adapter piece. So the adapter piece slides over and replaces this section here, and that way you're going to get a good match up to the mid pipe. But I'm going to show you some exhaust clamps and how they work, and even the piece that I bought isn't quite long enough, so I'm going to show you how to kind of work around that with some better clamps.
Okay, so we're going to take the exhaust here. We're going to find the clamp where the reducer goes in, 15 millimeter. We're going to loosen that clamp up. Okay, move that out of the way, and you can see it's slotted here so it'll fit in.
Now, I was so excited to use this new tool, but it's really not the right one for the job. So to help us, we're going to use the belt-style oil filter wrench. So we're going to take some liquid wrench and we're going to spray it right into that crack there because this little tube has to slide out. So you put a little bit in, and as you turn it and twist it, it will lubricate it up here a little bit. So this can be in there pretty tight, so just make sure that as you're twisting, you're also applying forward pressure. And you could remove the catback if you want, and I have videos on how to do that if that's better for you. And eventually we were able to get this out, but it does get pretty tight. Now if you look at the Borla Catback, it's 2.5 inch, but it reduces down to 2.25 because they intend for you to use this with a stock mid pipe that would also be 2.25. So that's how it would meet up. So this flange is too small.
Is now not going to fit if you have an aftermarket mid pipe, like we have a 2.5 inch mid pipe here with a bigger ball here for the cup. Okay, so you're going to get leaks around that. So what you do is buy this piece instead. Now the problem with this piece slides in to the catback. This one's going to slide over it, and it's going to be too large. Now, okay, so with this kit, what they don't give you is a 2.5 inch clamp. The Borla kit is going to have the 2.25 because it's reduced down from the factory in case you had a factory mid pipe. So the 2.5 or the 2.25 clamp is too small, so you have to actually go buy these. They're not in the kit. Now, when you look at the stock exhaust clamp for Borla, it's going to be too small because it's for 2.25. So if you look at this one, it's the larger one that reduces back down. So if we put this on here, it'll fit, and then you slide it on here, it'll also fit, but it'll help that it reduces back down to that size when you go to tighten it down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tighten this back together here. First we'll attach these, and then when we tighten this one down, we're going to get a good bite here on the larger pipe and a nice clamp down here on the smaller pipe. Now, if this aftermarket piece was long enough, it would get to the 2.5 inch size and would be fine. You could really get that down there snug, but see the gap that this leaves? So it's not long enough. So basically we're going to have to match this up here and then use our reducer sleeve to clamp half and half.
So the clamp size that we need is 2.5 inch. So I'm going to show you how this works with a traditional 2.5 inch clamp as well without the reducer side. I'm going to show you both methods, and in the end we are going to have to put some aluminum foil or some kind of heat tape around it in order to fill in the gap just because of the distance that we explained. So we want to make sure that we have a really nice clamp here where both of these meet, and that's what needs to be straight and level. The rest of the catback can give a little bit, especially since that pipe's a little bit bigger. So again, if this adapter piece was just a little bit longer, it would reach to the 2.5 section of pipe, but it doesn't. So this is one that I can link in the description or show you, and this particular one I got at late model restoration, and I just wish it was a little bit longer. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tighten this down. We're going to do it evenly, so make sure you tighten down each side about the same time. And it's okay to put a jack under here to really hold that mid-pipe up just slightly. Okay, so don't lift too heavy because you can crack your exhaust manifolds, just to support it. But you can definitely see this size difference. It's no wonder it leaks.
Okay, so basically you're going to tighten down this one first, lift it up and make sure that it is straight. So once you tighten those down and they're straight, then we'll work on the clamp. It's kind of just floating. So here's the problem. The Borla kit, 2.5 inch, but it reduces down to 2 1/4 in case you're hooking it up to a factory mid pipe. So when you buy these new sleeves, the 2.5 inch side of them would fit right over that perfect, and you could really get that tight, but then it's not going to reach. So to get these to come forward, we're going to have to fill in this gap.
So a good way to do that is to buy some heat tape that you can put down.
Okay, so I even loosened the clamp back there. I have all the space I can to bring this forward, and it's just not going to be enough. So we're still going to be short. So where the Borla kit goes from 2.5 down to 2 1/4 in case you're using a stock mid pipe, and you add this, the sleeve goes over this just fine. It's really not going to seal up until it's going over this, and then you have about a 2 inch gap. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap this, and you could probably use exhaust tape, something like that, and make this work. I'm just ripping this off a sheet at a time. That's about the width I'm needing, and just wrapping it until it's a lot bigger. Make sure nothing is on the inside of it. We can use a knife in the end to cut off the excess. Okay, so it's just at the point where this is barely sliding over it, and we'll just work it on. Okay, took our razor here, just cut around it to get the excess off. Now we're gonna wrap it again right at the joint, and then slide our clamp over it, and then clamp it down. Okay, another roll of wrap there, and then now we stretch this out wide so it can slide over it and clamp over it. So now we'll tighten this down and cut off our excess. Okay, so I cut off the excess, and I left a little bit out here, and then what I did was I took the razor blade, and you just run it flat like this, and it will smash it back into any gap that's left over. So it doesn't look too bad. So I'm working on my exhaust clamps here. I couldn't find my wrench from the other day. Oh, there it is.
Okay, so we're all sealed up and it's looking great. By the way, here's the T56 Magnum we just installed. Check the video description. I have the full install playlist on that. But as far as the exhaust coming back, we're looking good. We started it up, no leaks. So I'm very happy that it worked out that way. So that was something that I learned, and I actually learned this because somebody sent me a message asking that the stock kit goes down to 2 1/4. So I didn't know that. But that's why I wasn't sealing up. So anyway, thanks for watching. Check the video description for more videos like this. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Thanks, guys.